Well, good morning, folks. Mel down here in Costa Rica, and we got a very special guest today that's got debt forgiveness. So, for all you naysayers out there that say it's not happening, well, you're going to have to put this one in your pipe and smoke it because it is happening. And I'm going to prove it to the world that it is happening, including 107. Okay. She lives down in the area called Washington, D.C., and nobody's home. She's already verified that the military is in charge. She's already verified that all the main buildings, the FBI, the CIA, the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the Department of Justice are all shut down. Okay. So take your money out of the bank. And if you get a letter saying that you owe money to the IRS, ignore it because it's probably some law firm that's probably acting as the IRS trying to extort more money out of you. The IRS is a corporation that is what? Well, they're basically registered down in Puerto Rico. They have nothing to do with the United States, and it's been the biggest collection agency in the history of the world. Folks, before we get started, hit the pause button. Go to Rumble. Do it now because we are having tremendous growth over there, and it's starting to really snowball. Don't forget to share us on your social media. Don't forget to get the merchandise. You got to decorate yourself. You guys are the frontline soldiers. You guys are the ones out there raising awareness. We need as many of you as possible wearing a t-shirt that says XRP, Quantum Financial System, NESARA, NESARA. You want people to ask you so you can send them to where? QFS1776.com. It is the Holy Grail, the Holy Bible of what's to come, and it is coming. We're going to burn down the old system. We're never going back. Kennita, welcome to the show. Kennita has documentation. She has documentation on what? Debt forgiveness. And we're going to show that to you here in a little bit. What do you want to tell the audience, Kennita?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, on your broadcast. It really is an honor and a pleasure. I really appreciate this. My name is Kennita, and I wanted to let everybody know that NESARA is real. Things are happening. I know there's been a lot of naysayers, even on my end, on social media, on IG, on Instagram. People think nothing is happening, nothing's going on, what's happening, what Trump is doing, what he's not doing. But NESARA is happening. Now, I'll say that maybe it started kind of slow in the beginning, but it looked like it's picking up, bit by bit more and more. So I can tell you from my experience that it definitely is happening.
Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. I'm going to show some documentation to the people so that they're not going to dismiss this. I'm going to show you exactly what it is you sent to us. Tell me if you could see my screen here. I'm going to share that right now. Can you see my screen, Kennita?
Yeah, I see it. It's pitch
perfect.
black right now.
Can you explain to the audience what this is?
Okay, well, what you're seeing right here is I went into my credit score, like the Experian, to look, if you want to look at your credit, when you look at the drop down list or a drop down prompt, it'll say accounts. Well, what you're looking at here, this is one of my accounts, which is, as you see here, it's the U.S. Department of Education. And this is how I started learning about, or on my way to the road of learning about NESARA. At the time when I saw this, I never heard about NESARA. Nobody never uttered a word, never heard of it, anything. But I thought it was interesting. So I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then I looked at as you see right there, it says zero account, the balance is zero. So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's what you're looking at. And at that time, well, before I saw this in 2017, when I was working in DC, I had got a letter from the Department of Ed telling me that, oh, we're going to garnish your wages. So at that point, I just learned not to be intimidated. I mean, they intimidated us with all these different agencies and all these, corporation entities to make you scared. So by that time, I was already on a road and journey learning about this whole system. I wasn't an expert, but I learned about it. And one of the things I learned about is just not getting choked up about it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, fine. You're going to take my wages. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not going to give you any more money.
Sure.
So, and then a little bit after that, I was learning a process that someone was teaching me, which is a statutory claim. So that person was walking me through it, and I did what was instructed, and I sent it actually to the IRS, which is right in, what was District of Columbia. It's now called Washington, but at the time it was, Washington, D.C. And I did everything, you know, send the paperwork in. And basically all those documents that I sent in was telling the IRS to let them know I know who they are, and the fact that I'm the beneficiary of a Key trust. Why am I paying taxes? Why am I being taxed out like this? So basically, it's putting them on notice. So after I did that, I was waiting to hear back from them. I didn't get no rebuttal. So I just kind of left it at that. I didn't think much of it after that. I just let it go. So not long after that, maybe 2 years after that, I came home one day from work and I saw 2 checks waiting for me. So when I looked at the check, I thought it was odd. I said, "Why am I getting checks from the IRS, from not the IRS, from the Treasury? Two checks from the Treasury." I said, "Why am I getting checks from the Treasury?" So I opened it up, I looked at it, and I just kept looking. I was like, "Wow!" And then I looked at the stub that I have right here, which you see right here. I sent you
Mhm.
copies of it so you can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go through the next one here.
Okay.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
That's the stub right there. That's the top part is like a portion. I think that's a portion of the check before I, you know, cash my check. But that
Mhm.
bottom part, that's the stub that comes with the check. You know, you always get a pay stub, you know, that comes with your check. And as you see right there, it says federal student loan. So I was like, oh, so this is the wages they garnished. They gave it, they sent it back to me.
Interesting.
So yeah, so they sent me. It wasn't a whole lot that they apparently they just started garnishing. They didn't garnish a whole lot, but they just started to at the time. So by the time they got the paperwork, it stopped and then it extract in their tracks, and then they sent whatever they took out. They just sent it right back to me.
So, you
So
know, right now you're like literally becoming my doctor that's basically clearing me of my mental illness. I am not crazy.
no, you're
Kennita
not.
can prove that I am absolutely not crazy. Let's
No,
get to the
no.
next picture.
Okay.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so that's what you're looking at there. That was the actual check that was mailed to me in the mail that I got when I came home, and it was sitting there on the front porch waiting for me to pick up. I was like, wow. So that's the amount that I got back. It's not a whole lot, but the point is, it's the principle behind it. We know how the system operates, and we're learning. I mean, everybody doesn't know, but the point is that people are waking up and they're growing, and they're learning about how we've been taken advantage of. So now we're learning how to navigate and learn this system. And I remember you had David Strait, who I listened to a lot. He's really good with his information. And he was saying, like, yeah, well, what the people need to do is start learning about how this system works. And once they understand this, then they'll be able to navigate better and they won't feel so intimidated. I think that's the issue with people. They get intimidated so, you know, real easily, you know,
Yeah.
by this system, which is
Well,
understandable because we were never taught. But
sure. In
once
your
you
honest opinion, Kennita, do you think this is going to expedite NESARA NESARA by people getting off the treadmill?
Yeah, I think so. I think the more people start taking action, when they start to make the connection, I think that's the key is once they start making the connection about like for example, like why 9/11 really happened.
Mm-hmm.
When they understand what really happened, like there's a deep issue with that.
Yeah,
And once they connect the dots, I say that once they connect the dots, then they'll start to understand, okay, well, there's something here that's I'm supposed to claim that they put me under without my consent, and that wasn't right. So now it's up for me to correct that. And I
mm-hmm.
can, you know, and you can correct that. It's not that you can do it. I'm telling people out there that they can do it. If I'm able to do it, and I'm not saying that you're going to learn it overnight, but the point is you're taking action to do it. That's the whole point. So
Sure.
once they start taking action to do this, then they'll be fine.
Well, you do understand when I had David Strait on my show, he said that the top brass of the Treasury, they all got arrested. And Citizen
Oh,
Richard's journalist was down there to film it, and so was Nancy Drew. Their phones got confiscated, and the
oh
film
wow.
got deleted. Were you aware of that?
I heard about there was like I think I audited or something, right? Is that what it is?
Correct. There was a
Okay, I heard
massive
that
audit.
part.
Yeah.
I heard that part. I didn't know about that other part though. That was deep.
Yeah,
Wow.
the massive audit basically conclusion was that someone was skimming off the top. Tell us something we don't know. They've been skimming off the
Yeah.
top since the beginning of time. They just
Exactly.
got caught now because there's a guy by the name of 45 in charge, who's in charge of the military. And, supposedly, according to Richard, a citizen journalist, and Nancy Drew, both of them said the same thing, that dozens of police cars and prison style buses and people were held off in handcuffs. Okay.
Okay, there
And
you go.
nobody is home. Nobody is at the Treasury.
Yeah, nobody's there. I'm letting people know it has been a ghost town. I came to DC in the late 90s to school at that time. So it was a whole different energy, whole different time, and all the way up until now, the energy has completely shifted. Okay.
Yes.
So letting people know it's been a ghost town. It's like there's nobody's home at the White House, nobody's home at the IRS, nobody, it's empty. It's been
Yes.
quiet.
Yes. You just gave me the title. You just gave me the title to this video. DC is a ghost town and my debt got forgiven. Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go to the next picture, please. Okay. Tell us what we're looking at here.
So what you're looking at there also, that's another pay stub or check stub that I got from the Department of Treasury. And as you can see there, like I said, there's two checks I got. So that's the second one. Then it says right there, right in front of you, federal student loan.
Yeah.
So they basically closed my account. Once I send those documents in, they closed my account without no rebuttal, no fight, no nothing.
No, nothing. Because you had them by the balls, Kennita. You got them by the cojones, and you were squeezing them, squeezing the cojones.
Hello.
Yes. You know what I mean? Now you're on my page. Now you just became a gangster.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. This is another copy of the actual check.
Yeah, those are the two actual checks that I got in the mail. And that's like a former address. I'm not there at that address anymore, but that was that's where it was mailed to. And so it caught me by surprise. So like I said, even at that time, I never knew about NESARA, and I literally didn't hear about it until 2020, either 2019 or 2020, when I actually heard about NESARA, and I was like, what is this? And then I started reading into it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, this
makes sense.
It's making sense now.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah. When you go to our website, there's 3 websites in one, and you'll get the education of your life. This, as far as I'm concerned, I'm biased, but we actually painted a picture of what we're going into. And if you don't go to QFS1776.com, I feel sorry for you, because it's coming. It's not maybe it's coming, it's coming. Let me go ahead and go back to a full screen here. And you guys got to do what Kennita did. She went to the government and says, I want to grab you by the cojones and do a checkmate on you. Okay. That's what you got to do, man. And they folded like a cheap suit because they don't have a fight.
Yeah, there's and I want to say also too, like, again, people they get intimidated by this because they don't know where to start. I just say, take your time with it. This is not like a running marathon. You don't have to do all this overnight, but one step at a time. And as you're doing it one step at a time, you're gonna see how it all connects. And then you start growing the confidence once you know this kind of stuff. When you know the real law, when you start reading, and it's gonna require reading, and there's no way around this. Like, there's no, cheat sheet or somebody doing it for you. You do have to do this. So, but when you do it, then it's proof positive, like, oh, now I see what they're doing. Because I mean, if you really think about it, they play tricks on you to throw you off. Like, there's certain words they'll throw you off with, or they'll throw you this curveball to get you confused. And a lot of times that's to make you just get discouraged. So I'm saying to y'all, don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged by doing this.
Yeah, they'll try to bamboozle you with linguistics. So you have to learn your linguistics so that you know how to rebuttal them and grab them by the cojones. Okay.
Exactly.
Kennita, where do you see this going? I mean, you see this at some point, start to pick up some momentum, some speed, as far as I'm ready to interview anybody. I don't care if you're from Russia, Bulgaria, Sweden. I'll hire a translator. I will interview you. If you got debt forgiveness, I will put you on the show and we're going to put it out to the world, because there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, this is not happening. It's not happening to me, so it's not happening. I don't see it on CNN, so it's not happening. I hate to tell you, it's been on Fox News. Okay. And
Oh,
we got
there you
clips
go.
for that. We were on Vienneman about 2 weeks ago. We showed the clips. You want to see it on Fox? If that's what's going to add credibility to, you know, what it is you believe in, we got it there too. Okay. So don't tell me it's not. I know it's happening. Kennita knows it's happening. You know?
Yeah, it's just that people have to pay attention, and I can understand where they can confuse thinking it's not happening because they're not here in DC actually seeing it. They're
Right.
in their respected states. So I can get it where they kind of, you know, blindsided, like, when we don't see nothing happening. I'm like, well, you're not really here to actually witness it. But
Right.
I mean, there's Washingtonians here. A lot of them are clueless too, unless I really talk to them. Like, I spoke to a couple one time a little bit about, I didn't go far deep into it, but I said a little bit about what Trump was doing. And I said,
Right.
well, haven't you noticed the whole DC area has been a ghost town? And then they stopped and thought about it. They said, you know what? I have noticed that. That's what's going on. I'm like, yeah, that's what's
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly. So
So then,
you still feel that 45 is definitely in charge, correct?
definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So you're following the
definitely.
17th letter in the alphabet, all of that?
I follow it. I mean, I do follow it, not maybe not as deeply as like some people have started. I didn't even know about it until 2020, to be honest with it. The whole thing with the 17th letter, I never heard about it until 2020, literally. And
Interesting.
yeah, it's funny how all that like went past me. But when I picked up on it, I started going back on the, you know, the board where they post all the 17th letter
Yeah.
notation, and I looked at them. I was like, oh, oh, okay.
Hmm.
So they're doing this to get us to think, to get us to critically think, in my opinion, and to
Right.
help us understand what's happening. You know,
Yeah.
it's basically like decoding and connecting the dots. And
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people blow it off. Oh, it's a psyop. Oh, it's this. No, it's real. All you got to do is just look at, if you want to know, what's happening. Well, there it is. It's they're posting it on the board.
Right. Well,
So
Kennita, please tell me you are also an XRP XLM holder.
I'm actually learning about that too. I haven't I don't have a whole lot of them yet, but I want to learn how to get some of that.
Absolutely. You go
I
to
need
our
help with that.
room. Our Telegram group is right down below. Click
Okay.
on our Telegram group. We got patriots in the room that will literally take you by the hand. As long as you don't share your passwords, don't share your 12-word key seed phrase with
Okay.
anybody under any circumstances. And you could do the whole process inside the room under the supervision of other patriots. Do not do one-on-ones. If somebody contacts you and says, I'm Mel Carmine, I can assure
Mhm.
you it's not Mel Carmine. It's a
Okay.
scammer. Okay.
Gotcha.
So stay free
Gotcha.
and clear. Stay in the room. The reason why we tell you to stay in the room is that's where you're going to learn the education. We give you this free of charge. I realized when my wife tried to do this years and years ago, I realized this is so hard. The average person is going to give up. That's why,
Right.
hence the reason why there's still 165 million people involved with digital assets, because most people are terrified. There's so many complicated things that you got to jump through to get your digital assets. Get your digital assets,
Right.
put them on your hardware wallet. If you go in our room, we give you the qualified link so you buy directly from the manufacturer, because yes, there are cloned websites out there. Listen,
Wow.
the hackers know that there's hundreds of trillions of dollars getting ready to move into the space. And if you don't think
Right.
they're going to try to steal your money, you'll be
They're
making a
gonna try.
mistake. Okay. So make sure you
Yeah.
go in our room, Telegram group, click on the actual, where you get the actual wallets. And we also have video tutorials on our QFS1776.com that'll teach you how to put your money. And if you buy on Uphold, guys, okay, if you buy an Uphold, you only buy $500 or $1,000 worth. Always buy it with a debit card, not a credit card. With a debit card, there's no 65-day hold. It immediately, as soon as that transaction is free and clear, you could take your digital assets immediately off of Uphold and put it on your wallet. And don't look at the price. The price is a distraction. We're in a kabuki theater lawsuit, a lawsuit for the masses. Okay.
I do have I do have an Uphold app. I don't know if that helps. Or
Yeah.
is that
Uphold app is where you go to buy your digital assets for XRP,
okay?
XLM, etc. Another way you could buy them, guys, if you're in the market for a large amount, okay, like $10,000 worth or $10 million worth, you come and see me, and we'll put you through our broker in Australia, UK, and it makes it very simple. All of our customers, every single one of them, okay, has gone back 4, 5, and 6 times. They say it's like, you know, a 5-star operation, and it is. The boys and girls that are still somewhat in charge, Wall Street, the banksters, they're having a conniptious fit, and they don't want to relinquish their power. This is about power. This is for all the casino chips. This is for all the marbles. This is the biggest show in the history of the world. You're never going to see a show like this ever again. Would you agree?
I agree. I agree. Get your popcorn ready.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All the popcorn you need.
Yeah. Unlimited popcorn. Listen, It was great having you on the show. I know you're probably, you have a mortgage on the house?
I don't have a house. Well,
renting.
I'm in a, I'm renting though, but
okay, got you. Well, right now renting is smart.
Exactly. That's what people been telling me. Like, oh, don't worry, you're doing the right thing.
You can be a moving target. You know, you can pick up and just go somewhere else. Absolutely. When you're owned, it's a little difficult to do that. So if you have any kind of debt forgiveness, Kennita, please come back and see us.
I most definitely will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to have you on. Again, if there's anybody out there that has student loans, car loans, mortgages, or you got a loan from the government that was given, we had a guy that last minute he decided to cancel. No problem. Some people don't want to be on camera. I get that. Okay. $57,000. Again, he sent me the documentation. I respect his wishes. So it was okay. You don't want to come on. That's fine. I understand. I got my friend Dexter. His 2 friends got their mortgage forgiven. They don't want to come on camera. I get that, but it is happening. NESARA is very real. Stay for a couple of minutes. We'll say goodbye to the audience and we'll talk in private. Thank you guys if you're listening this far.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.